This is Mike Donovan with the Canadian Wildlife Channel. This video is titled Religion and Trophy Hunting. What does the Bible and Christianity say about trophy hunting? Hunting, or more specifically trophy hunting, as the 7th century Canon 51 of the Council of Trullo calls spectacles of a hunter's prowess, have been considered shameful actions by the Church since antiquity. Animals have been given their own place in creation and in their own way magnified God through their life. Genesis 1:25. They were entrusted into our care and were given to us for use as food for nourishment, but their lives and their well-beings are looked after and rejoiced in by God who made them. For the Church, reflecting on these truths, the idea of hunting God's creatures for pure sport, with no intention of using the meat for sustenance, was seen as hamartia, missing the mark, or sinning. The pelts and stuffed animals which hunters sought were a symbol of a person's vanity. A showcase of a hunter's prowess at the expense of another living creature. Skinned predators like lions and wolves, which were deemed unfit to eat, were left to spoil. Trophy hunting was also something limited to the rich. The money used to support vanity could rather have been used to pay for orphanages, widow houses, or later in the 5th century, monasteries. Thus, trophy hunting was seen as an abuse of the aim of hunting when it was missing the mark. Clergy, though, became accustomed to the comfortable in life and indulged in one of its time-tested traditions, hunting for sport. Many in the Church were scandalized by clergy participating in such a vain pastime, so starting in the 6th century, we see the first canons against trophy hunting. At the Council of Agde, the Church adopted canons prohibiting clergy from owning hunting falcons and guns. This initial step was modest, preserving participation in the activity but limiting the visible excesses to prevent scandal. Clergy continued to be involved in trophy hunting, so that at the Synod of Macon we see our first canon prohibiting clergy from participating in the practice of trophy hunting itself. The clearest prohibition comes from a canon at the Council of Trullo in the 7th century, which not only prohibits all clergy from trophy hunting, but also for the first time extends this prohibition to the laity. Clergy were to be disposed, and lay persons to be cut off from communication until they had been given up the sport of trophy hunting. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III, to one of his brother bishops, the Pope discusses how he deals with those in the diocese who have hunted for sport, including the penances given to clergy and the minor orders. Similar prohibitions against sport hunting were adopted by the Third Council of Tours and the Second Council of Chalons in the 9th century. These canons recommended a penance of 3 years' abstinence from communion for the offense and allowing a doubling of the time if the person was involved in animal fighting. The last canon to be passed against trophy hunting was adopted in the 12th century by the Council of Soissons. It is important for us to remember that these canons were not made to prohibit a family from getting food, but to discourage the unbecoming practice of killing animals for sport, whether this be for a mount or a pelt. This vanity reached its hideous climax in the late 19th century bison hunts on the Western Plains, where whole herds were shot and skinned, only to have their intact carcasses left to rot in the sun. The Jewish view on hunting for sport. Jewish law does not permit the slaughter of animals for food, clothing, or any other purposeful need. But this too should not be done with the attitude of cruelty. Beyond that, Jewish law prohibits causing any unnecessary pain to animals. There is another Jewish value to which this sport will run contrary, the laws of conservation. Everything in this world has a soul, a spark of divine purpose, or that which animates it until it reaches the goal for which it was created. If one is hunting to utilize the hides of animals for things that are justifiably beneficial for the human, this purpose is achieved. Similarly, if the animal is being used for medical research, this can be justified. But if one is killing for sport, he is cruelly depriving the animal from realizing its ultimate potential. The Talmud, which is a religious book, states that neither did he stand in the way of sinners, refers to one that does not attend Kanigyan. Kanigyang meaning hunting animals using dogs, and their entire intent is for play and fun. Accordingly, it is ruled in the code of Jewish law that it is forbidden to hunt with dogs because this constitutes the company of scorners. So I think we can draw a conclusion that Judaism does not condone trophy hunting. Buddhism and trophy hunting. The Buddhist religion actually has a spiritual head known as the Dalai Lama. And when asked about Buddhism's position on trophy hunting, the Dalai Lama responded, "I am deeply saddened to learn that Mongolia encourages trophy hunting of rare and endangered species for tourism," the Dalai Lama wrote. "We all know that taking others' lives is in general against Buddhist principles. How can we destroy and play with the lives of animals merely for fun, pleasure, and work and sports? It is unthinkable." Now, just while I'm here, just talk about how trophy hunting was introduced into Mongolia. 20 years. Safari Club International has probably more access to political decision makers here than the Dalai Lama has ever enjoyed, beginning with the backdoor entry during the communist era. So trophy hunting was not something that was common in Buddhist society. It was introduced by the American trophy hunting organization known as Safari Club International, who I've brought up many, many times in other videos. Trophy hunting and Hinduism. I just discussed the Dalai Lama regards to trophy hunting, and actually the Hindus consider Buddhism and Hinduism to be very closely aligned. In fact, even though the Dalai Lama or Buddhists only form 1% of the Indian population, 83% of Hindus regard Buddhism as a major branch of Hinduism. And that Buddhism evolved out of the same vegetarian nexus as both modern Hinduism and the beliefs of the staunchly vegetarian and militantly anti-hunting Bishnoi tribal peoples. So I think the conclusion we can draw from that, plus the fact that Hindus are vegetarians, that they don't eat meat, I think we can consider Hindus to be not supportive of trophy hunting as well. Hunting according to Islamic law. Hunting is permitted in Islam only when necessary for food. Taking the life of an animal for sport without intending to eat from it or otherwise benefit from it is prohibited. It's abundantly clear that not one single major religion approves of trophy hunting. In fact, they've all gone out of their way to specifically condemn trophy hunting or sports hunting.